Thank you, Lily. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Carissa Moore. I am the treasurer of your Board of Trustees, and here are today's announcements. So as you all know, this is the last Sunday in December, and we are starting January off with a bang. So next Sunday, January 5th, Kusala Bhikshu will be our guest speaker. On January 7th, a very busy day. There's an executive board meeting in the morning. The fundraising task force has a Zoom meeting at 6:30, and task force members will receive that Zoom link prior to that time. And Taco Tuesday is returning on Zoom at 7. The memorial for Steve Shirley will be held on Saturday, January 11th at 11 a.m. here in our sanctuary. The community team meeting will be on January 12th. The spiritual life team is holding a planning retreat on January 18th. Then January 26th, that is the one y'all need to mark your calendars for. January 26th, we have our poetry potluck service, and we have our congregational mid-year budget review meeting after the service. And then on Saturday, February 1st, we have our work party. So we are starting this year off with a bang, people. It's going to be great. All right, and now I will turn everything over to our minister, Reverend Maggie Yenoki.
Thank you, Carissa, and hello, everyone. Yeah, there's a reason for this little mask I'm wearing. I received some Christmas gifts that were kind of unwanted. Yeah. I figured we probably, in the winter, it's not a bad thing to just wear a mask to protect yourself, but Christmas Eve was filled with lots of hugs and kisses, and yeah, but I'm doing okay, doing better, and it's not COVID. I tested, so that part's good. But I want to welcome you and all of those folks joining us on Zoom. Blessings to you through the ethers as we meet under this new moon. The new moon is a perfect time for us to be letting go of things. So on this, our last service for 2024, let's be thinking of that, what we can let go of, finally, and what we can welcome in the times ahead. And we start our services, it's our tradition to sound the bowl. I have with me today, I snitched, oh, he's here and he knows, George's Japanese singing bowl that I just love the tone of it, so I wanted to share it with you. But we ring our bowl 3 times, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But for yesterday, isn't that nice? We call to our ancestors as we honor the founding members of this congregation. For today, for all of us who hold, care, and grow this beloved community, and we gratefully acknowledge the native peoples on whose ancestral homelands we gather, as well as the diverse and vibrant native communities who still make their home here today. And for tomorrow, for those who will come to find their home here with us, and may we always be a place of warm welcome and belonging. And I invite you to stand as you're comfortable, able, and willing. And we're going to sing a welcoming song, Gather the Spirit. It's number 347 in our gray hymnal. Please be seated. I'd like to invite Brianna Tidwell up to light our chalice. Chalice is a symbol of our faith, and as that symbol, we light it at each gathering to represent the values in the rich history of Unitarian Universalism that hold us in community. As Brianna lights our chalices, we open to hear these words by the Reverend Linda Hart. In the quiet of these moments, let us take a common breath. Unclench and open to each other and the Holy One that we call by many names. We arrive in these moments bearing the whole of our lives, and we bring with us the worries and troubles of our days, sometimes known only within the deepest places of our hearts. Here in the quiet, joined with each other, may we release our hearts from suffering and find a moment of peace. We come to bless these moments with the freshness of love, the grace of small treasures, with hope and faith, knowing well the promise of the dawning day, even in these, the longest nights. Here in the quiet, may we lift up our hearts in gratitude for the gifts of our lives, pausing in thanksgiving. It is written that to everything there is a season, and in our hearts we know that that is true. As the earth spirals onward after the winter solstice, let us open to the blessings that the darkness brings, praising the renewal that comes as the light slowly returns. I invite you to stand now for our invocation that we will sing, Spirit of Life, and then following that, we will read together our covenant. We affirm that love is the greatest purpose of this congregation. Our search for truth is our constant star, and service is our prayer. We pledge our hearts, minds, and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to make choices for a healthier planet, and to live out our Unitarian, Universalist values every day as beloved community. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. Please be seated as we enjoy our wisdom tale given to us by our DLRE with Robert Tidwell.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Today's story comes from the Braver Wiser collection on the UUA website. It's called Fear Not and Hallelujah by Marcus Liefert. It opens with a quote from Luke chapter 2. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not. I could use an angel popping by every now and then to tell me to fear not, instead of waking up and doom scrolling. I want each morning for my phone to alert me to a baby born. It would be sort of like an obituary in reverse. A light-skinned black person's arms cradled a tiny infant whose barefoot soles faced the camera. Today in San Rafael was born Ella Ray Riley. She may, my phone would declare, with little shooting star emojis bursting across the screen, help find a cure for cancer, engineer food systems that would end world hunger, or negotiate peace treaties. Fear not, it would gently remind me. Another human life has begun. Another newborn Messiah has been welcomed to this world. Undoubtedly, the angel would alert me. She will touch other lives. She will care deeply, and others will feel excitement when they see her, sorrow at her absence. Perhaps she will teach children, drive buses, fight fires, steward libraries, or manage cities. Or maybe she will inspire people around the world for a millennia to come by preaching a message of transcendent love and a holy vision of peace on earth. She may, it would conclude, live a quiet life with a few close friends, a cat, or maybe chickens, who depend on her to feed them each day, and a case of treasured books she turns to when the rest of the world is too much to face. Fear not, it would gently remind me. Another human life has begun. Another newborn Messiah has been welcomed into the world. I'd still read the science and politics of climate change and feel my heart lurch for the planet in peril. I'd still read about police departments propping up white supremacy and high courts stripping away women's rights, or love separated by borders, our country still ruthlessly declaring no room at the inn. But in the back of my head, I'd also hear the angel song, imagining that miraculous life full of spectacular greatness or simple, ordinary human wonder. Fear not, the angel would text me. Hallelujah, I'd write back. Hallelujah, as all of us move forward doing the next thing that is to be done, which is about all you can ask. Fear not, the angels say. Hallelujah, we write back. Now let heaven and nature sing, and then you guys can also sing as you sing us out to our classroom once Jaryus gets to work.
Have fun. Thank you to each of you for your many kind and generous gifts that maintain this community's physical and spiritual well-being. Here at the Monte Vista Unitarian Universalist congregation, we have agreed to donate 50% of the offerings we gather that are not earmarked as your pledge with a charity that aligns with our values and serves those in the Montclair area. Each recipient is pre-selected by the Justice team and then approved by our board. And for the month of November and December, we have been sharing our plate to support the 111 Hope Foundation, which is a 501c3 that was founded by our own Caitlin and Emmanuel Salgado. Today is our last day to offer them support. But let's hear what Caitlin has to say. She says, at 111 Hope Foundation, we believe that everyone deserves the support they need to thrive, and we're working to extend their support to the most vulnerable in our community. Being chosen as the Share the Plate donation is an incredible honor, and we are forever grateful. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for your generosity and partnership in this mission, because together we really are making a difference. So now we have our chance to support them in their work. As we listen to the beautiful offertory that Lily has prepared for us, I invite those of you in the sanctuary to come forward with your generous offerings. Well, folks, thank you, Lily. Thank you so much. So beautiful. Wow. The joys and sorrows that we carry in our hearts and in our lives are sometimes things that we like to keep secret, and other times we have a real need to share the things that happen with us. It helps with our healing, it helps with our grief, and it just helps to bond us as a community that cares about one another. I have several sad announcements today. Not much joy, but we can sprinkle some on for those of us that we are here with today. This one comes from Maureen Higdon. She writes, "My friend of over 50 years, Cheryl, has passed away on Christmas Eve." I'm sorry, Maureen. I also have a kind of a public announcement, but we have had a theological rock star in our midst for almost 100 years. As a pilgrim, John Cobb has been close to many of us, and around the world, John Cobb has taught process theology to many people, and I first learned about John when I was in seminary. But he died this week. He died just before his 100th birthday. Yeah. So the announcement from the Center for Process Studies says, "It is with profound sorrow that we announce the passing of John B. Cobb Jr., a visionary thinker, tireless advocate for ecological civilization, and a guiding light in process thought. As the founder of the Center for Process Studies, John's wisdom, courage, and unwavering hope inspired generations of scholars, activists, and spiritual seekers across the globe. The Center for Process Studies is coordinating with John's family to hold a public memorial service in his honor on February 15th in Claremont." And I also have Jimmy's phone up here because he typed out a prayer request and then his security system locked the phone. So, Jimmy, I remember reading that it was your Grandma Mary who had a stroke, and that her son is your dad, and he and his sister are requesting our prayers for Grandma Mary. We'll hold her in our hearts, and I have your phone here. Okay. I invite you to join me now in a moment of prayer and meditation with the combined words of two beautiful poets. One is Uli Kay, and the other is one of our favorites, John O'Donohue. So sit comfortably and allow my words to help you float and join in this time of prayer and reflection. I just thought you should know that I love how you're weathering your own storm and still know how to be the calm in someone else's. It takes enormous grace to be that person. And at a time when you could easily have chosen to turn inward and focus only on your own hurt. But the light you carry does not go unnoticed. So thank you for shining when shining isn't easy. And as this year draws to its end, we give thanks for the gifts that it brought and how they became inlaid within us, where neither time nor tide can touch them. Days when beloved faces shone brighter with light from beyond themselves, and from the granite of some secret sorrow, a stream of buried tears were loosened. And we bless this year for all that we have learned, for all that we loved, for all that we've lost, and for the quiet way that it brought us nearer to our own invisible destination. And there's a beautifully written, gentle song in our gray hymnal. It's number 95. It's called "There's More Love Somewhere." So let's just stay seated and sing along.
right. If you were looking in hymnal, there's more verses. But that was sort of like a meditation.
I zoned out, sorry.
But that was good, you know. That could definitely be repeated many times. So it was good. Thank you, Jaryus. It was good. Okay. My voice is about like Reverend Maggie's, but I'm not sick. So I just have allergies and dry weather, I guess. And I'm Catherine Rowley, if you aren't familiar with me, and I'm going to help out by reading New Day's Lyric by Amanda Gorman. May this day be the day we come together. Morning we come to mend. Withered we come to weather. Torn we come to tend. Battered we come to better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach towards what is next. What was cursed will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. These moments we missed are now these moments we make, these moments we meet, and our hearts, once altogether beaten, now altogether beat. Come, look up with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts, we hear it. For Auld Lang Syne, my dear, for Auld Lang Syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow ye will find. Know what we've fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For wherever we come together, we will forever overcome.
One of the carols that we have the most fun with during our choir holiday celebration each year is the 12 Days of Christmas. It's an English carol that is known as a cumulative song, meaning that each new verse is built on top of the previous verses. And within the 12 verses, each names a different gift that my true love gave to me on one of the 12 days of Christmas that are now underway for us. 12 days of Christmas count out the days between Christmas Day and the arrival of the seers, or astronomers. Notice I didn't say wise men. On the Feast of Epiphany on January 6th, or Little Christmas. Few traditions go deeper into the spiritual significance of the gifts that were given each day. But in my family, we followed the Catholic tradition, and we marked each day by leaving up our decorations and continuing to light our tree as we walked 3 miniature magi statues closer and closer to the manger, finding their way by the star they followed across the shelves and the tables between our kitchen and the spot where we put up the manger in our living room near the tree. It's a sweet tradition that some of my siblings continue to do, but we never assigned any devotional meaning to the gifts in the song until today. The gift on day 5 is probably our favorite of the 12, and it can be the most meaningful for us as we gather this morning on today is the 5th day of Christmas. We have all enjoyed Jimmy's perfect timing as he raises up his 5 golden rings poster just at the right time as a new verse was added. Thank you, Jimmy. And your poster's right here. I want to shake it. Here's Jimmy. I can't do it as well as you, sorry. But today we're going to use our poetic license to define those 5 golden rings in a way that fits our journey, just as many other traditions have done over the years. Some Christian churches define the 5 rings as the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, or the Torah for Jesus' faith tradition. Some scholars believe that the true love's gift on the 5th day was a group of 5 ring-necked pheasants, and that the 5 golden rings are not jewelry, but birds. And this seems to align with verses 1 through 7 that are all the gifts of birds. But for our adventure today, we'll define those 5 golden rings in many ways. Our touchstones, our guide rails, the rings we reach for to steady ourselves on our walk of faith and to frame the decisions that we make in our lives as a church community. Or maybe we see them as the ring that we throw out to a friend who is in need of rescue, or the golden rings that we cling to pull ourselves up out of any messy predicament where we find ourselves. But no matter what ways we define them, the 5 golden rings that we all recognize as our shared treasure are, for today, come with me, our Board of Trustees, our bylaws, our new UUA Article 2 values, our congregational covenant, and our connections to one another. And while I did put them in this order with intention, it might be that we could do without any kind of ranking system for them. But one thing I know for sure is that our Board of Trustees are 4 of the most incredible people that we could ever gather as a team to serve, manage, and guide our congregation through some of the bumpiest times that we've seen yet. And yes, there is a certain measure of stepping up that is expected when one humbly accepts a nomination to the board. But this board we have now is being stretched to work harder than expected in times that are filled with untold and unexpected challenges. And they're all nodding. Yeah. And they never complain. They just serve. It is a struggle for me to find the words that define the debt of gratitude that we owe them for this dedication. I could double their salary, but 0 times 2. But I think it's partly because we cannot easily define or frame any limit to their love for this congregation or their desire to see us through to successful growth again. Each of their determination to make choices and changes that will shape our future with wisdom and sustainability are unique to the gifts that they each bring. And together, they form a pretty tight ship. Debbie, Megan, Carissa, Letha, and Lynn Maria are the 5 golden rings all by themselves. And it's important that we honor their leadership and step up to match their resolve and their determination. Thank you, board. Let's clap. Our second golden ring is our bylaws. The bylaws of our congregation, like those of our Unitarian Universalist Association, are a legal binding document voted upon by the membership that sets the rules by which we operate and make decisions. They change as we do and serve as our regulatory framework for operations. Our current bylaws are comprised of 10 articles that fill 16 pages of text and provide the regulations for how we govern ourselves as a congregation. The latest vote to approve changes to our bylaws was held in October of this year, when we adopted the changes by a unanimous vote to make edits that became necessary when we chose to shift our governance from committees to teams. And we have a team who have served as our bylaws task force, ensuring that we have updated and that we're following them as intended. The current work was completed by Laura Mulroy, Catherine Rowley, and the 4 members of our current board. So thank you. Thank you. And while not every golden ring is one that glitters before our eyes or one that we long to grab hold of, one might think our bylaws serve best to alleviate insomnia. They're actually pretty interesting and quite essential to our identity and our operations. Reading through them is an important step for those who are seeking membership, and also a good idea as a refresher for anyone who hasn't looked at them in a long time. Our office administrator, Brenda Jones, can email you a copy of the current bylaws if you just email her your request. You can tell her you want the second of our 5 golden rings. And while we're exploring bylaws, the third golden ring for us is the new UUA bylaws that contain changes to Article 2 that many claimed that they were reluctant to support. But the back of our order of service lists the historic principles of our faith that remained unchanged for nearly 40 years. That is, until those who gathered for the 2024 online assembly in June voted 80-20 in favor of adopting new phrasing of Article 2 that includes the removal of the 7 principles and the inclusion of the 6 values that hold love at the center. Each week we send out the phrasing of these new bylaws and these values. It's in our community connections that you can open by clicking on an image that is similar to that 6-petaled flower that you see on the back of your order of service. We'll be spending more time in worship exploring those values in the weeks ahead, because it's important that we incorporate them into our faith journey and become more familiar with them as we live out our Unitarian Universalist faith and we share it with those we meet. Right now, even I myself would be stumbling. Well, I know it's jet pig, but let me think. And what each of them mean. We'll spend more time with them, and we'll include them more in our lives together so we become familiar. We can offer this golden ring with more authenticity when we know these values well. And our congregational covenant is the 4th of our 5 golden rings. An important agreement that we make with one another and we read aloud together each week as we live out and live into our faith journey as a congregation. Unitarian Universalism is a non-creedal faith with no requirement to adhere to a set of beliefs or doctrines. We instead agree to covenant together and create a web of interconnection. It's a promise that we make to walk together in relationship as fellow congregants. Our UUA website that you can find at uua.org calls our covenants the precious core of our creedless faith and reminds us that covenant is both a noun and a verb. A covenant can be a written agreement among individual community members who promise to behave in certain ways, and it can be agreed upon as we engage in mutual promises with Spirit and with people and communities. Our covenants are our agreements to be in relationship in ways that allow for a wide range of individual beliefs, and they should change as the relationships that they hold change. The covenant we read each Sunday is one that has changed over the years. When we made our shared decision to pursue green sanctuary status, we replaced the line about courage in times of fear with our agreement that we will make choices for a healthier planet. And that describes us well. And it defines one of the ways that we treasure our fifth golden ring, our connections to each other. Whenever we've been in a difficult time, recovering from a loss or describing our congregation to a new visitor, or a friend who's thinking about visiting for a Sunday service, the one characteristic of our community that shines through is the connection that we share with each other. It's that fifth golden ring that might be our greatest gift this season. So ask any one of us, and our answer is a resounding, it's the people. And may it always be that we see our people as the best of the five golden rings. So whether we're talking about our board, our bylaws, our UUA Article 2, our congregational covenant, or our connections to each other, we are always holding our relationships with each other at the center of this community's heart. And on this fifth day of Christmas, may the true love that flows from the very spirit of life to us be a deep and meaningful sense of belonging and greater gratitude for our five golden rings. Blessed be. I invite you to stand and we will sing aloud together, and probably not the last time over the next few days, but it'll be the last time for us this year. We'll sing Auld Lang Syne. We're only going to sing through one verse and one chorus. And our unison benediction that we will share and bless each other. Last time for this year. Give it gusto. As we depart from our time together, may we be buoyed by the spirit of life, delighted by the warmth of our gathering, and renewed in soul and mind. As we extinguish the flame of our chalice, may its lingering spark be carried in our hearts until we are together again. In response to our prayer today, when we meet again in the new year, we will know in our bones that this year has blessed us for all that we learned, for all that we have loved, for all that we have lost, and for the quiet way that it brought us nearer to our invisible destination. Many blessings in the new year.